We may realize what we're called to do, but what I hope we don't forget is that when we come back to the authentic identity, our identity includes the fact that we are agents of heaven. That's a fact. We are agents of heaven. And in coming back into our true identity and what we're meant to do as a service, that service is on behalf of heaven. And it's our responsibility to create and manifest that reality because we signed up to do it, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But how do we become trustworthy for that mission? We've come out of deliverance, the wilderness, and now freedom. And part of the lessons in that deliverance and the wilderness was meeting the fact that we had many addictions through Venus, attachments, codependencies, and attention and clout was one of them. Low self-esteem that had us to purchase and to spend money to consume in order to feel like we're a status that only heaven could satisfy us with. Only that mission could have filled that empty place in us. But we thought that enough pictures, enough attention, enough money, college degrees, job titles, as we pursue our ambitions, we thought that that was enough. And we exploited the Divine Mother. We abandoned the Divine Mother, Cancer, as we rushed for the 10th house, a race in humanity. And boy, did the children suffer. If you look at Gen Z, they are suffering because of us. Collectively, we subjected them to that suffering. We sacrificed Gen Z for these same ambitions. And they are the ones who are suffering terribly. They're dysfunctional. They're confused. They're upside down. We complain about how weak they are and all these other things. We created them because we abandoned the 4th house. We cursed the 4th house. We abused the 4th house. We neglected the 4th house. And especially our women, they grew to resent the 4th house and who they were in it. Feminism did that. Liberalism did that. Corporate greed did that. Machiavellianism did that. We aspired to become the symbols of Rothschild Rockefeller, who could do it best, ruthlessly, and we praise the most ruthless one. The restoration is taking place. We are in the fetus of the mother, being nurtured, fed by Jupiter. And I want us to know that what's pouring in are the hidden things, the unseen things, those things of the higher frequencies, those things that can only be comprehended through the crown chakra, Jupiter. Those possessions of heaven. Those are the things that abundantly are pouring in. Oh, did I disappoint you? Did I disappoint you with that? This goes with every virtue through Virgo and every moral value with Cancer. Virgo hosting with Mars, the rebirth of the personality, refinement of the personality. And Cancer, the inner being, nurturing and restoring the divine self, the heavenly self, the self that is rooted to compassion, care, sincerity, empathy, restoring the ability to feel the pain of the other person, the suffering of the other person as if it was your own, to see every child as if the child was your own, to see every woman as if it was your sister and every man as if it was your brother. This restoration is pouring in abundance, learning the lessons that teaches us how to be trustworthy when nobody's looking, teaching us how to keep our word when there's no one to hold us accountable for it, even when there's a great price to pay in holding that word, but we still do it. What happens when there's no clout, status, or money in your mission? Will you stop showing up, throw it down all of a sudden? We're so quick to expose ourselves, and as long as nobody's seen us expose ourselves, we think nothing of it. But guess what? It's written down. It was witnessed, and it is well known about you, even though you think it's not known about you. We're going to do better. We are going to do better. This Jupiter in Cancer, it includes a season where there is a blessing or return for what we did in the dark. Who are you when you were disappointed? Who were you when you got overlooked? Who were you when you were betrayed, lied on, oppressed, done wrong? Who did you become? What did you do about it? What did you do when you didn't obtain the status, the material, the status symbols, the opportunities, the recognition, the clout? All these things of Venus, what happened when you didn't get it, when it didn't go your way? What happened when you went through a season where although you knew you were the best leader, but you had to follow behind someone who you know really wasn't cut out to be a leader? Did you still respect the principle that we have to honor authority? Or did you take it upon yourself out of righteous anger to disrespect the person, even though you knew it was for you to respect the principle? What did you do? Yes, God understood that you were qualified. It was understood that who you were was better than what was being recognized. But how long did it take you to see that you were being tested, examined? Did you show humility, patience, endurance? You see, this is where strength is really shown. This is where leadership is really shown. Do you know how to lead behind the scene without making a scene? Do you know how to lead without ruffling feathers, offending, being abusive or overbearing? Did you learn how to honor those who were chosen while you were expected to be chosen? What did you do? Who did you become? There's a lot that we were supposed to be learning. There were many tests and exams that were run on us during the wilderness, that Cancer, Mars retrograde. Who were you when you were full of righteous anger? And you thought that because you were so full of this anger and you had your reasons, that you were justified to deny someone their right, to abuse someone, to become unjust, overbearing, oppressive, disrespectful. Your anger justifies it. Is that your thinking? The wilderness was an examination. The wilderness was the test. And in freedom, you will see the results. I want to make this about a reminder that at the South Node, we have Virgo. And Virgo is hosting the number 9 vibration, the Hermit card. What happens when we are subject to the number 9 life path or heart soul urge number? We become hidden. This is when God often forms you and reforms you in absence of attention, glorification, validation, praise, recognition, acceptance and inclusion, the spotlight, the limelight, praise. These things are excluded. You are removed from platform where there is praise. You are removed from circumstance and situation where your astral body gets exploited or overindulged. And there's a reason for this. Because this is at the transiting South Node, every one of us are subject to this opportunity. And that opportunity is to realize the blessings in waiting, the blessings in stillness. Often we think that our growth and our progress is in times where we have something to celebrate, where we have something to share and show as evidence or proof of our progress, victories, overcoming, achieving certain status, obtaining certain possessions, or being paired with desirable woman or man that others can admire you for. Showing the fruits of our labor and of our efforts and our sacrifices. The number 9 vibration is quite different. Often these things are denied you, and it is only because the number 9 is a fortified character. The one who has the number 9 heart soul urge, their character is already fortified. They've learned these lessons in past lives, and they are able to endure the lack of praise and validation. They don't seek it. They remain focused on the principle, the purpose, and that is what is most fulfilling to the number 9 heart soul urge. It's the service that they are connected to. When we are subject to the life path 9, however, which is the case with South Node Virgo, life path rather than soul urge, it means this is something that we have to learn. And it means that collectively we have to get this lesson right. Collectively, we have to get this lesson right, and it requires us to experience isolation. And it is only isolation when our astral body doesn't seem to be connected to the world in ways that makes us feel good. There are things that you would like to have of property, proofs, something that shows that you've succeeded, you've made your mark in the world, something that proves to everyone that you have become. Showing and wielding authority, power and influence, charisma, and magnetism, causing smiles and admiration, to move about in environments, making decisions that moves mountains, making announcements and speeches that shakes the room, rather in business and family or among your colleagues. This is the energy that we're coming from, is what I want to remind you of with South Node Libra. It was the end of that. The slogans of get to the bag, I'm a boss bitch, I'm a made nigga, accolades, I got this degree and that degree, I'm an entrepreneur, I am. And everything is for the ego. The Instagram status and pictures showing a timeline of a person who's really living the life. So they make you think. Pictures from certain angles, restaurants of 5-star or high quality, European fashion, Rolexes, so on and so forth. This is where we have come from in indulgence in our astral body, Venus. We have spoiled and exploited our character and image, living in the image of Lucifer, who is Venus, instead of the image and likeness of God, in which is our authentic expression. That is who we really are. We have to be born again, in a sense, to recover the true identity and image that we were meant to stand in. And that can only happen through Virgo, number 9 hermit card process, the number 9 vibration, life path, heart soul urge. And in this context that I'm speaking, the life path, we have to go down this context of fated experiences that subjects us to this process. This is where God pulls us away from too much attention, pulls us away from too much clout, pulls us away from those things that distracts us from the point, from the root, from the objective, which all in all is the soul's evolution. And during that time, we could think that we are not being productive. We could think that we are losing progress. We are missing opportunities because there is a lot of waiting, there is a lot of stillness, and there is a lot of silence. You are sitting and you are waiting, and you feel as if you are wasting away. And during this time, many tests, examinations are sent your way. What decision will you make when there's no one there to see you do the right thing? Will you keep your word if there's no one who really would hold you accountable for it anyway? How would you use your time if you have an abundance of it? Would you claim to be bored and pretend as if there's nothing of your inner self to develop, work on, or focus on? When there's no attention, when there's no status and clout, will you lose all enthusiasm to be your best person? It's easy for us to pretend to be so noble, so righteous, so full of integrity, when there are witnesses around, when there are people to take note, when there are people to record it, when there are people to praise you for it. But what happens when you are isolated and you find yourself alone quite often? You still must be who you say you are. What happens when you are sent with a purpose, a cause, and there's no glory? What happens when you know you have a service to bring to the world and to humanity, but there's no money? What happens when you recognize who you are, but it doesn't come with clout? It doesn't come with status. Will you abandon it? Will you abort mission? Because it doesn't come with all of the things that Venus would give you. Mother Mary, which represents Virgo in this context, she holds you like Christ off of the cross. First, it was Mary Magdalene who Christ blessed, in which there was a legion of spirits in her. As she was a prostitute, she lived in the nightlife for whatever reasons that she had. She represents Scorpio, and she was transmuted through the illumination of the Christ impulse. And then she became one of the closest disciples to Christ's impulse. That is the same as a Pluto-Sun conjunction. Now, after the crucifixion, you have the body of Jesus, or the Christ, and Mary holds him across her lap. He's laying across the womb that bore him, lifeless, helpless again as he was when she bore him. I want you to think about that, because it's you, lifeless. After a transmutation and the body facing the necessary crucifixion, which is you are sacrificing the flesh so that the spirit can evolve. That is the number 9. And Venus is what hosts the flesh and what it desires. With the number 9, you are sacrificing that, and you end up laying across the lap of Mary, number 9, Virgo. And what's unique about Mary and Virgo is purity. Purity. Refinement. The removal of that which is impure to restore that which is lifeless without that process. This number 9 process is so necessary that we go back to the wounds that bore us, which is the stillness between you and your Maker. Reconnecting with that voice. Virgo is a voice of self-correction, preparation for judgment, scrutiny, self-criticism, a searching of the self and the soul. It is the algorithm of spirit that prepares us for the 3 courts of Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. It is to address the details of efficiency in the body, extracting the nutrients and relieving the toxins, as Virgo rules the digestive tract. I want you to know where you are. You're the lifeless body laying across the very one that bore you. And when it comes to the actual restoration of the body, we have to go to Cancer for that. Our mother, Yemeya. When we go to Cancer for that, this is where the umbilical cord, the fetus, it was where we first extracted blood and nutrients toward our life. But all of this took place in the fetus where there were no witnesses. There was no one there to watch. There was no one to see. There was a feeling. But we don't get to see that process for 9 months. Where the master craftsman, the master carpenter, the Most High, molds and forms you in consistency with your cosmic signature. Every cell, every organ is perfectly measured. And it is a slow process, a tedious process. It is filled with burdens, anxiety, discomforts, challenges. But there's not a single step of it that warrants attention and celebration, as we don't get to see it. I want you to know that Cancer Jupiter transit is not something that we should expect to make noise. It's not something that we should expect to garner so much attention, celebration, and praise. It is a private nurturing of the fetus, and you are that fetus, but it is private. It is the growing of the womb, the growing of the fetus, you. And simultaneous with Mars and Virgo, it is the identity, the personality, first house, that has to be refined in order to accommodate it. And again, this is done in private, in isolation. Nobody gets to see that process. It's not something that you should seek so much attention for. But behind the scenes, you must be paying attention. You must be fully vested. It is not full of attention and clout and noise. It is a silent, still, patient process where you think that God forgot you. You think that you were just left there to rot. But that is how faith grows. You think that you were just left behind, but it teaches you to trust the process of the most wise. You think that nothing but shame and humiliation, degradation, being overlooked, you think that that is your portion. But really what it is doing is it is developing your sincerity. And you never look for that again in your works. You don't expect it. Humility is something that we grow. Patience is something that we grow. Faith is something that we grow. Conviction is something that we grow. Trust in the process is something that we grow, and it takes time and humility and humiliation too. You may feel like you've been out of place. You know that you're better than what you're going through. You know that there's more potential and status that comes with your nature, your identity, and who you are. And you feel like you're not in the right place. But I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Anything that is to be celebrated for its glory, for its shine, for its luster, there is a process before that you got to see it, that brought it to that point. Virgo is about that. There's a process before the impulse of Christ was celebrated. And Mother Mary was part of that process. The grandmother of Jesus was part of that process. He extracted wisdom from a true woman's nature and insight and intuition. It's not a wisdom that he just came and regurgitated. The Christ impulse came with wisdom that truly comes from the root of a woman's intuitive knowing, because it is affixed to compassion, understanding, empathy, care, humility, forbearance, and love. Those are not things that man has been inclined to in his history. It came from woman. But Christ reintroduced it as a wholesome wisdom that man is capable of embodying in his being. And he went through something to be able to produce that. And it didn't warrant praise and recognition and status. Who do ye say I am? He asked the question. Who do ye say I am? Thou art Christ, the Son of God, if that's what you say. There's humility. We're being made for something, but we have to be trusted in what we're being made for. We're being prepared for a mission, but we got to be trusted to fulfill it. And character is everything. And the right personality has to deliver it. The personality has to be purged of its anticipation and connection, its addictions and attachments to validation and clout. The character, it has to be purged from addictions and attachments to codependencies, fears, temptations, impatience, narcissism. This can only be done in isolation, because we have to come back and face the self and die to the self. We have Black Moon Lilith at Scorpio, Juno at Scorpio. We have Vesta at Scorpio. This is where the rebirth takes place, through these channels. I want us to know where we're at. And I want us to let go of the expectation that we need clout, that we need praise, that we need symbols of status. I want us to detach our sense of value in things, job titles, career paths, name placards. It has to come back home. It has to be rooted with the mother, which is our values, our morals, our conscience. This is why the body starts with cancer. It starts with the mother. The rebirth of the body starts with Mary. And we have both taking place simultaneously, where Mars is carrying the personality there. It's carrying the first house there. It's carrying what is in Aries there. And at Jupiter, it's taking our philosophy, our subconscious. It's taking our faith back to source, back to mother, where we embody morality, virtue, integrity, compassion, understanding, empathy, patience, humility, brotherhood, sisterhood. We are rebirthing, restoring the body. We are connecting to the fetus of source. And Jupiter brings a pouring in of nurturing to this portion of the self, because this is where we have to come from. This is the womb that we have to come from in all of our dealings, reverencing and honoring the womb forever. When we go about through life, if our mothers taught us kindness, good manners, morals, we remember that when we deal with our neighbors and how we communicate, how we interact with each other. Jupiter transiting through Cancer is reconnecting us with that memory. That memory is implanted in every single soul, but it has to be revived. Through feminism, through liberalism, through Machiavellian corporate ambitions, Rothschild, Rockefeller, we lost our morality. We lost our compassion. We lost our virtues. We lost our morals. We gave it all away. But here's our blessing where it's given back to us, but it's given back to us in the dark. It's given back to us in the night. Because it doesn't have to be glorified. It doesn't have to be seen. This is not something surface, entertaining. It's everlasting. But we're the ones who have to show that same enthusiasm behind the scenes when nobody's looking. That same zeal, that faith, that conviction when nobody's there to praise it. When there's no clout that comes with it. Will you still do your mission? Will you still show up for your mission when all of that doesn't come with it? That's one thing that a lot of people are going to be surprised by. They're looking for fireworks and attention and status. A generation addicted to attention and social media status. This is our chance to undo it. Let it go. And let the value take place behind the scenes. Let the value take place in exchange, in secret, by the hidden hand. A cell phone has to be pulled out at every good deed. Oh, look what I'm doing for the poor. Yeah, I just did this for these people. I just did that for these people. A cell phone has to record everything because we want praise. We want attention. There's no sincerity in it. Where we are headed, we have to be sincere. You have to be trustworthy to uphold that mission. Because when everybody stops giving you attention, when it's no longer fun, when it's no longer exciting, when there's no more adventure in it, when there's no more candy or cherries to pick out of it, you want to throw it away. You want to give up. You want to wash your hands of it. Even marriages are this way these days. Divorces aren't happening because there's nothing that can be done in most of these cases. The grass looks greener on the other side. I'm missing out on all the fun. The honeymoon is over. It's not fun anymore. It's boring. I'm not happy. We can't be trusted with God's mission. We can't be trusted with the assignment. Because look at our character. We'll throw it down midway when it gets hard and when it gets boring. When we have to show resilience, relentlessness, courage, humility, we'll turn our back on the mission and we'll go find something else to do. This is why we lack the leadership that we need, the protection that we need, the support that we need, the inspiration that we need, the family and camaraderie that we need, the quality of love that we need. We lack it because we have an immaturity in us, an arrested development in us. We only want to show up when there's attention, money, and clout. When there's sex and consumption, status. Don't expect these things and where we're going. Do not expect these things where we are headed. Because what takes place in cancer, it takes place in the fetus. What takes place in cancer is just like the baby who's breastfed. The mother covers the breast. The mother covers the baby as she breastfeeds. She is modest. She is modest. God is modest with you as he feeds you. When it's time for you to come forth, when it's time for you to show up, people will see what God did in secret. People will see why you were hidden away in isolation. And everyone will bear witness that only God can make a leader, a healer, a teacher, a guide. Only God can make that. College can't do that. Your looks can't pull it off for you. Your charisma, no. It is during the hours when it is ugly, it is difficult, when you are tasting of poverty, you are tasting of lack. You don't know what to expect. How will I get through this? How will I get through that? These are the times when your character is being formed. These are the times when you are being tempered to become the quality that can endure the opposition that is guaranteed to be there, the weather, the difficulties, the seasons ahead. It is a seasonal process over and over again. In the fire, out of the fire. But we are impatient.